group called Journalism That Matters. And what they tried to do in some of their earlier conferences was just map out visually. A lot of us are visual learners, but map out visually kind of what happens in the traditional news gathering, news making process. And so you see here, in this central role, this big ball here, are editors, the sense makers of the organization that are working to assess what's happening in the community, figure out what stories need to be told, listening to reporters who are also doing that assessing of the community and the ideas that they pitch. They're assigning stories, they're sending out photographers. So a lot of activity is happening in this center area. And I actually have the PDF that I'm going to give to Ms. Anderson to share with you all that explains a little bit more about this graphic, because it's an evolving one, and I think it's an important one for you guys to understand what's happening and the dynamics of how this is changing. So a lot of activity happening here in the traditional news organization, layout, design, etc. Reporters. These lines here represent relationships coming to and going from each of the different roles that are here. Some are intangible, some are tangible, as in money flows, but it's important to understand that what's happening is that those flows and dynamics are changing between the roles, and the roles themselves are changing. So we have the traditional community sources over here that are informing our reporters. Our reporters are informing the editors, who are helping to make decisions about what to cover, to what depth, and who should be involved in that. We have the photographers that are feeding into that with visuals. We have the publisher that's making policies about how much of the newspaper is advertising, how much of it is editorial, what's the position of the newspaper on its editorial pages, etc. We have elected officials and community leaders that are influencing those publishers in various ways, through petitions to be able to get on the editorial page, for fair coverage, and other different types of things. We have advertisers that are obviously a big part of this equation, the ones that actually fund the newspaper, and they do drive a lot of the decision making of the publisher, and some of what the editors can do in terms of the news roll that's produced each evening. We have producers that are working either in broadcast or the print producers, which would be our paginators and editors that are producing information as well. They're actually piling and creating a finished product that then gets distributed and gets to an audience that's out there somewhere that picks up our newspaper. So I wanted to start here so that we can get some groundwork and some understanding of what the traditional news organization has looked like. And this is a similar process regardless of what kind of media platform that you're looking at.